Hey, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Damiens, and in this channel we do contemporary, modern, and spooky DIYs. Today I'm bringing you a DIY that it's been going around on the TikToks and the Pinterests and everything in between. It's a yarn macrame rainbow with tassels, and people usually do them in pastel colors or like in browns, very kind of like boho style. So I decided to give it a shot, but make it more my style. What I'm planning on doing is half of my rainbow be normal colors, and then the other half I want to create kind of like a black rainbow or a desaturated version of a rainbow. So pretty much all grays. And I thought it would be fun to kind of like tell the story of good and evil, dark and light, emo and preppy, angels and Damiens. And in the middle, I want to create some sort of lightning bolt that is going to separate both of them. All right, let's get started. If you want to recreate this, this is what you're going to need. For this project, I'm gonna be needing some pipe cleaners, these nautical ropes that I found at Dollar Tree. They were $1 each, and a yarn with many colors. I don't use yarn a lot, so I decided to go with these that have pretty much all of the colors of the rainbow, as well as this one that has many tones of gray. You thought I was gonna say shades of gray, right? 50 shades of gray. Well, you're wrong. I'm also gonna need this hot glue gun. This is a low temperature one. It will be way easier to handle than the hot ones. And some scissors just to be cutting all the yarn and thick ropes. Optional, you can use a ruler and a pencil just to measure all the cords. Honestly, I started with that technique. I did it in the sizes of 28, 26, 24, 22, and 20 inches. But to be honest, at the end of the day, I went with some other shape for the rainbow. So I ended up cutting a lot of the ends. But if you're doing an even shape of a rainbow, then you can use those measurements. But since my shape is irregular or asymmetric, I didn't need those measurements at all. After I separated all of the colors, I chose the ones that I was going to need and the ones that are very specific to the color of the rainbow. There were a lot of colors like in betweens, like violets, teals, blood orange.
Blood orange, she's so pretentious. Shut up, it's red. Blood orange.
So the way I'm doing it is I'm putting a little bit of hot glue on the tip of the rope and just start from there. In other tutorials, they leave some space because at the end, they're gonna be like taking apart the rope, and that's gonna create some tassels. But that's not really my style, so I'm just gonna do it very nice and clean. But yeah, so all you do is get your yarn and start wrapping it all around the cord, and whenever you want to stop, you put a little bit of hot glue and then just glue the last bit of the yarn and continue with the other color. Now if you're just doing one color, you can just go and finish the rope and continue with the other color. Me, however, I'm stopping halfway through because the other half is gonna be some other color. Now that I have all the colors of the rainbow done, I'm going back to each one of them and I'm gonna do the grays. Now that I have all of them done, I'm gonna hot glue them together, and I'm using this bowl just to keep the shape of the rainbow. Now, in other tutorials, I've seen that this is pretty much it. If they're doing the tassels, they do the tassels and they just hang it. For mine, I wasn't really liking the way that the space was looking in between each rope, so I'm gonna get a little bit more intricate with it. I decided to do a braid of each color, and I'm gonna add it in that space in between each rope. That way it would look a little bit more finished and maybe a little bit more like a macrame piece, and I like the way it turned out. Now I'm just poking a hole in between that crease and hot gluing the braid in that crease between the ropes. I did that for all the colors of the rainbow, and I'm doing the same for the gray tones. However, I'm not going to cut the ends of it. I started to like this kind of like grungy look. It looked more distressed and raw, and that's kind of like what I want for that side of the rainbow. It's for it to look a little more damaged and raw looking, and so I started adding a little bit more of those strings, kind of like grungy tassels. And that's it for the rainbow. Now we're gonna go and create our lightning bolt, and for that I'm using modeling clay. I'm also using some wax paper just so it doesn't stick to my table, and another one on top so I can roll it and make it flat. Now I don't have a rolling pin. Well, actually I just bought one at IKEA, but sometimes you have to improvise, you know, so I'm using just a spray can, and it worked pretty well. Next, I'm going to put my stencil that I drew earlier, and I'm just going to cut it, and after that I'm gonna let it dry for at least 48 hours. After that, you can go ahead and sand it and paint it with acrylics or spray paint or whatever you want, but it has to be completely bone dry. Okay, so it's been a few days and this lightning bolt is completely dry, so I'm going to give it a quick sanding just to get rid of that clay texture, and I'm gonna try to make it as flat as possible. My idea for this lightning bolt is going to be to part it in half, and I'm going to spray paint the left side gold and the right side silver. I kind of wanted to do something with mixed metals, and what that means is that you create something with both colors, gold and silver. This is pretty much kind of like a rule from way back that you're not supposed to mix metals. I think that was more for like jewelry, like you're not supposed to be wearing like gold earrings and silver bracelets, but then later on they broke that rule and they started creating all these things with mixed metals. So anyways, now we're outside, and so I covered half of the lightning bolt with painter's tape, painted it gold, and now I'm going to paint the other side silver. And the easiest way to just add this lightning bolt onto the rainbow was to hot glue it. And so I was putting like a generous amount of hot glue on the back, pressed it very, very well. And to hang this on the wall, I'm gonna be using this soda can tab. They make great mounting hooks. I just hot glue it, and that's it. This is the final product. I really like how this project turned out, and it's not really hard to do at all. I actually want to recreate this, but maybe like in a smaller size, kind of like to put as a keychain. But instead of yarn, I want to use leather rope, or like those leather strings that you see like in craft stores. But anyways, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And please, if you can, please share this video with your friends. Leave me down in the comments any suggestions, or put 50 Shades of Grey. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Sunday. Ciao!